Hello explorers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are in Elmina Castle, which is one of the castles in Ghana. I went there just after exploring Cape Coast Castle on the same day because this is one of the 3 castles in Ghana. So join me on this experience as we explore Elmina Castle. Explorers and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Right, so all the enslaved were held in dungeons for at most 3 months. They had to wait for ships to arrive for them. When the ships did arrive, the females who survived had to be moved from their dungeons, chains on their legs. They had to go down this very way. And all these men, they fed them from this single hole to see out there. Then in Trajan and humans, they deliberately fixed all these here, again to control their movement and even to have a psychological effect.
Getting to the castle, we walked across this bridge, whose story will be told later in the video, and went to the payment center. Please, if you are a student, make sure you go along with your student ID card or a means of identification as a student, because you are going to be given a lesser fee to pay as a student, and if you are a citizen of Ghana, you also get to pay a lesser fee. I was taught to be a citizen of Ghana, so I think I paid a lesser fee when I got to this castle. I think about 20 cedis or so, but I think the normal fee for foreigners was about 50 cedis or more. I can't really remember, but if you're a student, just make sure you go with your ID. Okay, after making payment, I was led to where the tour guide was because a tour had already started and I had to join the company of tourists to explore the castle. They have finished telling the story about this prison that is being shown before I got there. So from there, I just moved forward with them.
Oh, they just started.
I don't believe that.
I don't think they started.
But they have been saying some things already.
Hello, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I
So
missed
these
this
were
one.
dungeons for all the female captives.
Yeah.
And then this is the water reservoir. Please a minute. Yeah, we have the water reservoir. So this is where they harvested rainwater. And then this is what they drank, they used for cooking, for bathing. And sometimes the governor stood here, all the females had to gather here. He selected one person he wanted to rape. Then water was drawn from here, she was bathed in the open. But sometimes when she refused to be raped, she was punished with that here. This is 25. So they just put chains here, they tied to her legs. And she had to stand there, hold the water. You want to just lift it from here. So that's where you got it.
Okay, let me just check out.
This is the original floor of those days. These are bricks from those floor. Yes. And these are also bricks from the Netherlands. The castle was built by the Portuguese in 1482. The Netherlands or the Dutch had control in 1657, so these they brought from the Netherlands. Then this is the original what? Bars. Yeah, so these were placed here in those days, all around, but they are rusting, so we have replaced them with this. Then these are not original, the materials, they are used for drums by students.
Okay, even this chain, no.
Yes,
Yeah.
so the students use them for their legs and legs. Any questions?
No question.
So after the Dutch, the British were here for 85 years. Ghana now has in fact control for 50 years. So we have one more dungeon here. You can have a look at this. Then we can walk into the last one here. This has no source of ventilation. No source of ventilation here. Then the last one is right here. Right here. That held about 80 of the female captives. They don't fixed right here. They did everything in here for 3 months. Right, so all the enslaved were held in dungeons for at most 3 months. They had to wait for ships to arrive for them. When the ships did arrive, the females who survived had to be moved from their dungeons, chains on their legs. They had to go down this very way. Then to the gate of no return, you find that on our left. But in those days, right here, there was a wooden staircase. It helped them to get down, then to the door of no return. Today, we don't have the wooden staircase, it's a gutter here. So it's not safe for us to use this passage to the door of no return. So please, let's see it. We can have a look at that later. So here we have one of the male slave dungeons. We also call this the transit male slave dungeon. When the ships arrived, all the male captives had to walk from their dungeons around through this very one, and down they went to the door or the gates of no return. But some of the men, they kept in here, about 150 of the men. And all these men, they fed them from this single hole you see up there. In those days, they had to eat brown bread or boiled corn or millet or rice mixed with oil. Once the food was dropped, all these 150 men had to fight for food. We call it survival of the fittest. If they didn't fight, they were going to starve, they were going to die in here. So just think about the man who stood at the corner right there. What time he made it to this area to get just a little food to eat. If they needed to drink water, they poured water freely from there. And these men didn't have cups. So how do you think they drank water? Behind us, we have the branding group. That we call the branding group. So with branding, there were metals, and just below the metals, symbols of all the traders. Once a trader bought a male captive, they made fire in there. They placed their metal in the fire to grow very hot. Then these were stamped on their shoulders, on their thighs, so that all these men could be identified by their names. The females had a different form of branding. So females were given tags they wore around their necks only in Elmina Castle. Other places, females were branded with very hot metals. Please walk in there, have a look. So here we have the male captive exit to wait for this. But please wash your hands here and take one step down. Walk from there, females descended from here. When we get here, please let's bend about 4 to 5. And that behind us is the door or the gates of no return. Please, can we see the sea?
Yeah.
Yes, the sea is a distance away. But in those says the sea was much closer to the castle, but the sea was not too deep. So the ships couldn't come that close. So what they did was down there, they placed smaller boats and ladders. The captives had to get into the boats. They took them to the bigger ships. Then these were sent to the Caribbean, the Americas, where they had to work in plantations. Others worked in mines. They never came back. And since they never came back, today we all call that the gates of the door of no return. But what can you say about the size of the door? Yes, very small. So why do you think the Europeans made the door so small? What were their reasons?
So they couldn't come out in masses and attack.
Right, so that was made small to control movement. They had to go out one by one. And in going out, these were also counted. But let's go back to my question. Does it mean that the captives were not fat people? They're looking at the size of the door. That they were not tall people either, looking at the size of the door. What do you think? What do you think? Are we here?
Yeah, we are.
They were so malnourished that they could probably
Excellent, yes. They had very little food, very little water, so they lost a lot of weight. They were all able to go out and they went out easily. But the same door was much bigger in the days of trading in gold when they first arrived. So the door started from right where you are standing and it ended here, very big, in the days of trading in gold. Then in trading in humans, they made it so small. Then when you look up from where we came, let me show you an aspect of the side. Right here. In the days of trading in gold, all these were not here. So this area was so big a space, you can see from up there. They could easily walk into this place with gold without bending. Then in trading in humans, they deliberately fixed all these here, again to control their movement and even to have a psychological effect on them. Then we look behind that, we have more of the bricks. So all these placed here by brothers and sisters in the diaspora, they come back, remember the many who couldn't make it. And some pray to ancestors traditionally, using all these bottles of schnapps, bottles of water and the likes. So it's more like a small shrine where people are able to connect with ancestors right there. Any questions or contributions? Right, so this here was written to remember one of the Dutch governors who lived in the castle. The governor's name we have here, Tex. The language is Old Dutch. Tex, the governor, came from Zeeland. Zeeland is a province in the Netherlands. And he was the last Director General over the West Indies Company, over the North and South provinces of Africa. The governor arrived here on the 16th of January, 1758. He died the same year, on the 12th of March, when he was 41 years. When the governor died, he was buried right here. What do you think killed the governor? Malaria.
Exactly.
Malaria killed the governor, so he had to be buried right here. You can translate that quickly for them.
Okay. Ils ont dit qu'il y a quelqu'un qui est venu de New Zealand.
When we look on the last floor,
Il est mort
that's
de
where the
la même
governor
année
lived,
à
the
cause
very
de
last floor. Then the next one was occupied by his deputy or his vice. The next one, all the European soldiers lived there. These are two cells. This wall here is a buttress. You look down there, there's another buttress. And these support the walls of the castle so that the castle will not collapse. They were fixed by the Dutch. On it we have some metals. They were fixed by the British. They were meant for the policemen they trained. The policemen had to climb it. They descended it as many times as they could.
So let me show you how I and my fellow policemen used to climb these during the time of the slave trade era. Watch out! James Bond no do reach this one. Hit me up for training, my brother. Hit me up. Open for business. I did it.
Then that in the middle was built by the Portuguese as church, Roman Catholic Church. But when the Dutch were here, the Dutch were not Catholic, so they couldn't worship there. The Dutch divided that into two. So down there, they were buying and selling the Africans. Then on top, they were eating and drinking, dining hall for their soldiers. When the British were here, this is where they trained Africans as policemen. Today, Ghana uses this structure as a museum. Then when we look on top, we have so many rooms. All these were occupied by missionaries, by priests, by pastors, by traders on top there. Then below them, we have dungeons all across us. These were male slave dungeons. The men numbered about 600 every 3 months. Let's have a look at these cells, please. Right, so this was cell made for white soldiers. Some of these soldiers left the castle without permission. Others got drunk, misconducting themselves. They were punished in here. They were kept here for a few hours, then they were released. But in here, if a soldier needed water, he was given water. If he needed food, he was given food. So none of the soldiers died here. And this place can get so airy because there's one window here. You see this second window. And this exploration has spaces in between. So air can easily flow into the space. Let's compare the conditions here to the next one we complete. The doors are not the same. That door and that door. There's a vast difference. The symbols above them are not the same. That's a star and 2 crossbones. What does this mean?
That's
was meant for the African male captives. Some of these men tried to fight back for freedom. We call them the freedom fighters. They were taken from their dungeons. They were locked in here. As many as 50 men and above in this very small space. And above in this very small space. Once the men were here, no water, no food. They were left here to starve until the last one died. When they died, the soldiers looked through these holes. They came for their bodies and threw their bodies into the sea. So So there was no way an African man walked here alive and he walked out of this place alive. No. So we call this place a condemned cell. Are the conditions here the same as the soldier's cell? No, they're not. And this leads to the magazine. The single home itself on the inside. This is the you can just have a look at what is up there.
Where do you say that door is from?
The magazine.
No, where is? Have we seen that?
Yes.
That small one.
I'll show you. I think you missed that.
Okay.
Please, let's go this way. So can you please stand right in the middle there and lift this for us so we see the stairs?
Me?
Yes, you. A lady can't. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. So
This way?
yes, please lift it up.
Oh, sorry.
So here we have the stairs. The female who was selected by the governor there, she had to climb these stairs to the bedroom of the governor up there. She was raped there. Then she had to go down the same way to the dungeon. So this was more like a private access to the governor's bedroom right here. Please, you can close it now. What is it? So let's see the governor's bedroom. She's not the main. Of the governor right here, the bedroom. And when we walk this way, the kitchen.
Living room.
Two halls. One hall here, another hall right there. Then behind that door, a bathroom and a changing room there. So one white man, 5 rooms. And many Africans, a very small space they call the dungeons. Changing room. This is where you dressed up. Okay, just tell them. Okay, let's walk to the middle, please. We can, or else we can sleep and fall. Please tell them. Okay,
On n'a qu'à marcher au milieu là, si on a
all
glissé.
those slip and fall. Please, let's walk in the middle. It's slippery. After the talk, take you back to the female side because you missed that place. Okay, so these are original canons of guns. These were used to protect the castle from enemies. Look right up on the hill. There's a structure, it's a fort. It's known as Fort Saint Jago. Fort Saint Jago. That was built by the Dutch in 1665. So that's where they kept more soldiers to protect the castle from there. Then we move closer towards the wall here and look down. There are two moats. Just below are two moats. That's the outer moat, and right there, the inner moat. Both were filled with seawater. Then the bridge you see there was lifted. Once that was lifted, people could not walk. The square we see down there is a navigational compass. Navigational compass. It also works as watch. We call it sundial. So what they did was right in the middle, they placed a long pole where the shadow fell. It helped them know the path right there. Compass and sundial. Now we can
when we are done with the tour, we can still come around and take pictures, yeah? After we were done here, we were...
Okay, so right on my right, we have this classroom, and this is where the mixed race children were educated, right down there. But we are not going there today, sorry. We'll go this way. This was classroom.
What did they teach them?
They taught them math, language, science,
Not morals.
not values. Yeah, tell them that after the somewhere they opened it, they commissioned it.
That's the fishing harbor.
They took to them. Right, so when you look down there, we have some pillars right there. That's where the bigger ships anchored. They waited. Then the smaller boats brought to them the space. Then they took them. So these are evidence. It's evidence that you don't make the sea. And this they built right on top of the female slave dungeons. We look up there, that is from the Bible, Psalm 132 verse 14. It's in old Dutch. Zion is the resting place of the Lord forever. Zion is the resting place of the Lord forever. Let's say it. Please start.
There was a small place behind the church. What was that?
It's more like an office for the church, a vestry. Here we have kitchen of the governor. The governor had two kitchens, one here, and then the next one, right here. Two kitchens for the governor. Two kitchens for the governor. One there, and then this one. The balcony of the governor. The balcony of the governor. The governor stood here and made his selection right down there. Then the female users openly climbed the stairs to his bedroom. But anytime she refused, she was punished with a cannon ball right there. That is big.
Where is the opening that she used to come up?
That side.
That's
No, this one.
okay.
Let's carry on. This used to be the conference room or the boardroom. This is where meetings were held. This is where they deliberated on issues. Today is no more a boardroom. Today this is a shop. Then right here we have another balcony for the governor. Right here. So after the meetings here, he stood on this balcony, addressed all the soldiers who gathered right below. So when we are done, we can come here, have a look at this, take pictures.
Yes, it's
Head back down to the art shop which we came across earlier while going to the governor's room. We checked out souvenirs. People that wanted to purchase some souvenirs did. After checking the souvenirs and buying, I went back down to the museum building which once served as the place where transactions of slaves were made, but has now been converted to a museum, and I made videos. So you can pause the videos if they are too fast for you to see. I'm just trying to make this video as short as possible. In this pictographic museum, I saw different things about the history of Elmina Castle and the history of the Ghanaian people, their history, their culture, their traditions, and their ways of life, the works they do, and how they have developed over the years, and how the Westerners affected their growth as a people. So this is the first video I made of me climbing the training stuff the officers usually use during the slave trade time. So they said the soldiers usually climb this just right behind me, and I want to see if I can climb it or if this is going to be the last video I'm going to make. See you soon, or not to see you again. So yeah, I did it. And I'm going to be seeing you again. Yes, I'm definitely going to be seeing you again. And with that, we have come to the end of our tour in Ghana, as we should have proceeded to Côte d'Ivoire from here, but we faced different things at the border of Côte d'Ivoire and I had to turn back from here. So with that, I've come to the end of my adventure of exploring 4 West African countries with a $1,000 budget. And yes, I didn't spend up to $1,000 at the end of the day. Au revoir, explorers, and until we meet again in our next adventure in Nigerian state.